Again, my name is Sean, and today we're just going to be pretty much creating our own live template-based designs. So the first one we're going to do is, if you guys looked at the design, it's going to be the one with the sun. Yeah, someone asked if we if we can go over the kids pack. Definitely. So towards the end, I'll leave about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll show you some of what you can do with those, some of the new features, because when I right now, if you guys haven't updated your wizard, we released a new update. Hey, Connie. So we're at 4.16. So if you're not at 4.16 yet, go ahead and if you go to your download items on our website, when you log into your information, if you go to download items, you'll see the newest download for the design wizard. So if you're working with the 4.15 or lower, you're not going to have this new magic boundary tool that we've added. Doug, I'm not sure Doug, what is yours saying? Is it still say the 1.5? Ooh, okay. So Doug, what you're gonna have to do real quick. So if you ever have a previous version of the design wizard, what you'll need to do is add our toolbar. So we're just gonna go over this real quick, just so everyone's on the same page. If we go to customize, now if you already have a TRW toolbar, you'll see it here. So let's pretend that this is, version 3 or 2. What we need to do is just uncheck that so you won't see a toolbar anymore. Go ahead and just right click in this area. You'll see customize, workspace, and then import. And then you can go ahead and go to your documents tab, and you should see a TRW design wizard. When you click that, you'll just go to toolbars, and then depending on what version of Corel you're working with, you can just go ahead and click that toolbar. I already have this one in here, but I'll just go ahead and run through it. And then you'll see TRW toolbar again here, and go ahead and check that, and it should give you the newest version of the 4.0. Now, that's only if you're working with a version before the 4.0. If you're in the 4, it should automatically update to the 4.16. You don't actually have to go through all that toolbar. That's just if you're going from the 3 to the 4 or the 2 to the 4. Kate asked, where do we get the fonts that are included this design? Is that the designs we're going to go over today, or are you talking about... Okay, so the fonts we're going to go to today, I'll show you. I'll give you the names of the fonts that I used, and you can just kind of download those, like defont.com. There's a few websites, and I'll show you how to do that, and I'll give you the names of the fonts, and then you can go ahead and download them yourself. So they're not actually going to be included. We don't sell, like that was just a free font. We don't sell it or anything like that. I'll show you where to find those. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So the first design we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and drag our ellipse, or select our ellipse tool, and we're just going to draw a circle. So it can be around 7.5 inches. Once you draw the circle, you'll see it up here. Now to draw a perfect circle, you're going to hold Corel while you draw the circle, and that will make it perfect every time. So once we go ahead and draw that circle, we're just going to go to our design wizard, and we're going to go to the edit tab and hit this right click our split button. And when I do that, you'll see the line go right across my design. So that's going to go ahead and split that right for us. And then I can go ahead and grab that bottom piece and delete that out. I don't need that piece anymore. And then if it's helpful, you can also change the color so you can see the sun a little bit better. So once we do that, we're going to add our rays around the sun. And again, we're just going to use a basic shape in Corel. We're going to go to our star. Now, if you're working I'm in 2017. If you guys are in X8, 7, 6, you might have to, your star tool might be in a little bit different of an area, but you're going to pick your star tool. we're going to draw a perfect star. So again, we're going to make sure we're holding control when we do that. All right, and now I'm just going to kind of, if it's helpful, let's go ahead and center both of these at first. So you can do that by hitting P as in Paul. Now here, when I click on my star, you'll see at the top it has this pointer size and the sharpness of the points. So the first thing we want to do is change this number to 5 to about 20, in between 20 and 30, depending on how many of these rays you want. Now the sharpness, we'll make that around 30. Again, it doesn't have to be set in a certain way. If you like it, you know, however you like it. If you want skinnier rays, you can make the sharpness higher. If you want kind of those fatter rays, what we're going to do in this design, you can leave it around 30. Now I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger, pull it down a little bit, and let's go ahead and just make it a tad bit bigger. And I'm essentially just kind of lining this up, and let's go ahead and move this to the back. So you can kind of start to see that these are going to be our rays around the sun. So these ones are going to come in a little bit because it's going to be wider, so you won't see them as much. So if you want, you can pull it out to the sides. It will change the shape of everything, but if you like that look better, we can leave it like that. So once we get to here, we need to cut everything out around this sun that we don't need anymore. So what we're going to do is go to our place and fill tab. We're going to go to that, we're going to set it to the outside, and we're going to do one island, and we're going to do our spacing around 0.15. You go ahead and hit island fill, and then you'll see this island go around our top half of the sun. Now once we get here, I like to pull it down because you can see right here, if I just cut this out right now, all this will be one piece, and then when you get down here, they're kind of broken off a little bit. So this is all one solid piece, and then the last kind of 2 or 3, and you get into some weird cut lines there. It's just going to be more problems. So what we're going to do is, before we do that, we're going to just move this down just a tad until those lines are all individual pieces. So until this little corner edge passes our new island, that's what we're looking for. So now once I hit this, let's go ahead, I'm going to do it just a little bit more. So now when I subtract those out, I'm going to grab my island, hold shift and select my rays, and hit back minus front. So now all those are individual around the whole sun. I can go ahead and change these colors, and now we can start to see that sun really take place. So this bottom half, you know, if we're working on a different design and maybe we want a little shadow effect, this looks really cool. But for this design, we don't need it. So we're going to go ahead and double click and then just delete everything underneath it. So now we're just left with our top half of the sun like that. So does anyone have any questions, or do I need to repeat anything about how we got to this part? All right. All right. Is there Shelby, is there a certain part you wanted to see again? All right. So just a breakdown of the sun again. All right. So I'm going to do this one a little bit quicker, but we're just going to make another one real quick. So to make the circle, we're just going to make that perfect circle. Again, we're holding control. We're going to go to our edit, right click the split. That's going to split it right in half for us. Go ahead and get rid of that bottom section. Then we're going to grab our star shape. We're going to give it 20 points. And we're going to make the sharpness 30. So this is what we're looking for now. I'll go ahead and move this away. And then I'm going to just hit P as in Paul. I'm going to highlight both of those, hit P as in Paul, and it's just going to center those for me. Yeah, and this is being recorded, so you guys will have the recorded version once we edit that, so you guys will always be able to go back and rewatch this and follow along. So, just going over it real quick though. So we're going to just make it a little bit bigger and pull it down, and maybe a little bit wider. Now, once we get to this part, let's go ahead and change these colors around so we can see it a little bit better. So I move the red to the back. Now, once I get to this step, I want to add one island to the outside with a contour of 0.15. Now, again, all this can be messed around just a little bit. If you want to change your contour spacing or anything like that, you feel free. If you want to make your sharpness higher, so you have rays looking like that instead, you can do that too. So right now we're just going to leave it at 30. We're going to do island fill. I'm just going to put this nice island around my sun. Now I want to get these points underneath this white line. So when I do a back minus front, it cuts that out, and each one of these are its own points. So I just move that down just a little bit. Now I go ahead and select my island, hold shift, select the red, and hit back minus front. Same sun, go ahead and delete the whole bottom half, and then you can make it all the same color. You could leave it too, however you wanted to do it. Alrighty, so the next step is we're just going to add our text. And this is the part that is really important, because not only are we going to add our own text, but we have to set it up so we can edit it to say whatever we want. So to do that, we're just going to grab our text tool, we're going to click, and we're just going to type out in all caps MMM, so 3 M's. Now you can go ahead and space this. Now we're going to go across the sun, so I'm going to pretty much line this up right now. Now the biggest thing that we need to do is right up top when I have my text selected, if I don't have it selected, it won't show anything. Once I have it selected, you'll see it gives us the text type, the size, and then right here is our alignment. Now this is the most important step when we're making the text. If we don't center our alignment, when we go to use our text, if the word's not long enough, it's not going to work correctly. Alright, so we want to make sure we always center our text. Now once we do that, we can pretty much, all we're doing here is adding an envelope to shape our text. So if anyone's ever used the envelope tool, you'll already have a head start. So we're going to go to Effect and Envelope. So you'll see that envelope open up here on the side. For this design, we're going to use our standard single arc, and that's going to be this one right here, and we're going to click Add New. So once I hit Add New, you'll see a box come around your design. With this one here, we're going to lift the bottom up while holding shift, and you can see the lines move. So it's going to show you how it's moving. And then when I let go, it will actually shape my text to that path. Alright. Hey Donnie, I know you just said you're coming in late. Don't worry if you missed a little bit. We're not too far, and this will be recorded so you can go ahead and see that beginning part again. But we're not too far into it, so you haven't missed much. Alright, so that's how we're going to shape our text. Now, once I shape my text to how I like to test it right away, because you don't want to go through a whole design thinking you set up your text correctly and then it's not working. So we're going to go ahead and open our TRW Live template editor, and we're going to select our text, or we're just going to hit Find Text, and it should come up with the MMM. Go ahead and select that, and then we can write out, so this one we did Smith, and let's do all caps, family. Now you should see it take the shape of the envelope we just created. It doesn't matter if it's a long, if it was just Smith, it would still fit into that perfect shape. Now, and you can write as much as you want and it'll still fit no matter what to that shape. And don't worry about what font you start with, because once we edit it, you can select the text. You'll see the drop down here. And then once you're here, you can go ahead and select any text style you want. So the one I did in this one, let me go find that real quick. Teaspoon one for this one. So go back. Oh, St. Peter. So that's the one we used on this one. So this font, someone was asking about it earlier, was called St. Peter. So someone asked about Jasper Daniels. So that one, I'm pretty sure I have that one uploaded too. So that one's right here. So you can easily use that font as well. So it doesn't matter what font you use. Again, this one that was in the demo was St. Peter. Now, let me go ahead and pull this up while we're talking about it. So, if you search St. Peter text or font, you'll probably get a list of places that carry it. Download free, stuff like that. Where I usually go is right here, this first one, dafont.com. That's usually where I'll look up my fonts. So we'll just go ahead and click that. Then you can hit download. You'll see here for personal use only. So this one you probably won't want to sell too much or advertise this one too much. This one's for personal use only. So make sure it doesn't say, you want to make sure it says like for commercial use and stuff like that. But that's how you can find your fonts, just like that. Okay, so someone said Jasper Daniels was removed for copyright issues. Yeah. So yeah, we won't use that one. We'll go ahead and stick with the St. Peter one. Now, once we have this set up, if you want to make it taller or anything like that, you can go ahead and stretch that by the top or the bottom, and it will still work fine with our text here. So is everyone good to this point? Do I need to show anything again? Alright, so the next step is adding our contours. So with this one we set up, it looks like it has that, it's got the original text, what we have now, and then a white outline, and then and then another outline like that. So someone asked, I'm good, why don't I see anyone else's comments? You won't actually see, this isn't the Facebook Lives, you can actually see all the comments and questions coming in. On the webinars, only I will be able to see the questions and comments coming in. It's not shared or anything like that. So you won't actually see anyone else's questions. So with this one, what we're going to do is, first we're going to add our first contour. So right up here on your TRW toolbar, you'll see the contour tool. Now, under objects, let's see, what's that? Changed 2007, but there is right here. So under effects, you'll see contour 2. That will open up this side Docker and pretty much give you the same layout, but you won't actually see your contour until you hit apply. So if you use the contour right here on our TRW toolbar, it'll be this double box and it'll say contour tool when you hover over. So go ahead and click that, and then above will pop up all the contour settings. So right here, if you hover over, you'll see to center, inside or outside. We're most likely always going to do an outside contour. So as soon as I hit outside, you can already see the contour added around my design. Now we're going to make this a little bit bigger. We'll go ahead, make it around 25. And we have it like this. This right here is going to control our offset. So when I go up, it's going to make that contour larger. If I go down, it will make it smaller. The next box is our contour corners. So we have 3 different options in here. This one's a rounded text, so it's not going to really show too much of a difference. But if I zoom into these areas up here, you can kind of see the shape change just a little bit. So depending on what style you like, you can change it to round, bevel, or mitred. It doesn't matter. It's just about the preference you like. So we'll go ahead and leave it. With this one, let's go ahead and leave it round because it is a round, curvy font. So we'll just leave it like that. Now, the way it looks is, it looks like we always have almost like two contours. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see it. And usually this inside one's white. So you can't actually just hit 2 contours or 2 steps. That's not how we get that look. What we actually do is leave it at 1. And let me make this go back to about 2.5. Right? So once we get here, what we do is select our inside text. So if you select the green, it's going to give you your contour setting. So we want to select the black part of our text. Hit Control C and Control V. And that's just going to put a copy of our text right there. Now it shouldn't, when you copy and paste it, it shouldn't give you a contour. It's just going to select that inside text and paste it right on top. All right. So we have our original behind with the contour, and now we have our new one right on top. So if I hit contour again, it's going to have all my settings saved from last time. So instead, I'm going to change my fill color to white. You'll see the whole thing turn white. But now, I'm going to make my contour offset smaller. So now it gives us that look just like that. So it's still a 3 color, but what this does is set us up later to really, when we're ready to cut this or set it up for cutting, we have a couple options now. If we want to layer it 3 colors, fine, it's ready to go. If not, we have our merged 3-color live text. So what we just created was a 3-color live text. So now all I have to do is highlight my text, hit merge 3-color, and you see how it gets rid of that inside and knocks everything away? So it sets it up perfectly to do that for you. So it takes it from a 3-color and makes it a 2-color. That's, you can use glitter, you can use any type of vinyl you want. Now again, we still have everything behind it, so we would still want to edit that out, and we would do that before we hit the merge 3-color, but that's essentially what we're setting up when we create this text. So we actually have 2 different texts layered on each other to create that look. Now to change the color of the contour, you actually have to select the contour, and let's say I wanted this to match my sun in the background. I'll hit fill color, I'll choose my little color eyedropper, just click the sun, and now I'll make it that same yellow as the sun. So whatever color you want it, you can select that eyedropper. I can use my palette colors, I can use any color I want. If I just select it, it will add it around the contour. Or I can manually drop down and move my mouse into any part of this color, and it will change it that way too. So I like the white look, so we'll just leave it like that for now. Does anyone have any questions about this 3-color text? This is probably one of the harder things we have to do with the live templates. Okay, so if you don't have this, if yours just says break apart effects or merge 3-color live text, or doesn't say anything underneath break apart effects, you need to make sure you have the most updated wizard. The Merge 3 Color Live and the Magic Boundary are two added features since we released the original live template. So everything here has made it easier to edit and get it ready to cut. Alright, so we're good. Alright, so the next part, we're just going to add two rectangles, and we're just going to draw those. It doesn't, if you like them thicker, if you like them skinnier, whatever, it's all preference. So we'll just go ahead and make two. And what I'm going to do, everything's pretty much centered so far. So I'm just going to draw two rectangles like that, weld them together, hit P as in Paul, and that will make sure everything's centered. And then I'm going to hold Shift and then just drag them right down so I know that they're perfectly set up. Alright, so same thing. We're going to create another live text. Alright, let me go over that again. So we just draw our rectangle tool. You can do a copy and paste. Move one over to the right. Hold Shift, select both rectangles. So now I have both of them selected. Go ahead and add a little color. And then up here at the top, you hit Weld. And that's going to make all these just one object. So both rectangles are one object now. Now, if you hit P as in Paul on your keyboard, it should center this to your page. And so far we've centered everything to our page when we started working. That way it keeps everything perfectly centered. Once I do that, I just drag it down, and if you hold Shift while you drag, it will keep it perfectly in line. So from there, we're just going to create another live text. So it's the same set, or same system. So MMM, all caps. Once we do that, our next step is always to center. Alright, so let me go over that again. We're going to type it out. Right here on the top, it'll say horizontal alignment. We're going to make sure it says center. So if you see a big X up here, you know that you're not doing it correctly because it won't show that X once we do a centered text. Alright, so this is one of the most important steps when we're creating this live template, to center. So that's why I'm going to go over it one more time. So once we write out MMM, right up here, you'll most likely see this X with a none. Drop down, center. And then we're just going to put this right in you can hit P as in Paul 2 to center your text, drag that down, and put it right in between these little rectangles. And then if I want, I can get right up on them, I can leave a little room, I can make it taller, whatever I want to do. So once we hit that and we have it set up, we'll go to our envelope tool again. Now even though we aren't, it's P as in Paul. So P, the letter P on your keyboard, you just hit that and it's going to center it right to your center of your page. Alright, sorry Andrew. Alright, so we'll keep going. So once we get that, we're going to go ahead and, even though we're not going to shape this one like we did to the top, so the top one, we hit add envelope and we added that little shape to it. You can, feel free to. On this one though, we're still going to hit the single arc, we're going to hit add new and apply. Now don't forget to hit apply here or it's not actually going to add the envelope. So now if you click your text, you should see this like blue box appear, and it won't let you actually manually change the text. Alright, so again, let's go to our live template editor, find text. Now we have the Smith family, and we have our 3 M's again. So let's go ahead and write reunion. And if you want the date, you can add the date. So we do reunion 2017. Drop down to our St. Peter text, and then we can change it just like that. So let's go ahead and match our colors. Now with the reunion part, what we do here, instead of adding a contour, what we're going to do is select our reunion 2017, hit Control C, and then hit Control V for a copy and paste. So you should have two reunions right on top of each other now. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to just make this one a different color for now, so I'll make it yellow. We're going to just bring it down just a little bit. And you see how it gives us that shadow look now? So I'm going to make this our shadow background black, and then I'll change this one back to our blue. So just like that, it's just a copy and paste, and then we're slowly moving this down to the bottom right, and it just gives us that shadow effect. So you can bring it up top if you like it the shadow that way, if you want it going to the right. Either way you move this, you'll see that shadow effect. So just line it up to what you think looks good. Once that's set, you're good to go. Now, what's awesome about these live templates is when I hit find text, even though I have Smith Family twice, you're only going to see it once. Yeah, someone asked if all this would be layered heat press. So yeah, so part of this design, if you want to layer vinyl, you have with these designs, you have to either know if you're layering it, if it's vinyl that you can layer, like Easy Weed, or vinyl that you might have to set up more, like a glitter or something like that you can't actually layer right on top. We would have to set this up differently. So the bottom text here, if I knew I was using glitter, I'd probably just delete one of the shafts, like the top, and just do it that way. And the top text here. And once we're done with the design, I'll kind of run through this again so I won't get too much into it. But you would have to get it ready to cut after you create it. It's not just ready to cut. If you're using a direct-to-garment sublimation, you're good. You can just print it. But with cutting, we still have to get that ready. And I'll go over that a little bit too. But the cool thing about this is once we have this, we just hit Find Text. You'll see Smith Family and Reunion. So you can see clearly too, there's actually two texts that says Reunion, but it recognizes it as one. So anytime, maybe it's they're going on vacation, instead of reunion, it's just vacation. There we go. So it'll change it both at the same time. So that's what's great about the live templates. Even though it's right on top of each other, it's two different text boxes, it's going to recognize them both as the same text, and then it'll only give you one option. And then you can change them both at the same time. Alright, so with this design, the next one I'm gonna pull some designs from the internet. So someone asked right here, what is ULT next to enter new text? So same thing with our wizard here. When I go to my font, you'll see ULT, and that is just upper, lower, and title case. So depending on how you want your text, you can easily, if I typed in all lowercase and I wanted upper, I could hit this U and it will manually change it all to uppercase real quick for me. So again, it's uppercase, lowercase, and then title case, which will make the first letter of each word capitalized. Alright, so with this design here, we're going to actually pull in clip art from one of our summer packs. On the next design, I'm going to show you how to use the B-spline and trace your own. Now, with the B-spline, you can create your own vector art and save it, and we're going to, in the next design, we'll do that to save a little bit of time. With this one, I'll show you how to use art or clip art you already have. So here, I'm just going to pull this up on my side. You guys aren't going to see it for a second. Just give me one more second. So this one here, we have a beach clip art setting. So with this one, and what's cool about these live templates too, has anyone ever used our TOW Magic templates? A little bit? Okay, so the way those used to work is instead of actual text and stuff being there, you'd used to be seeing like maybe a circle, like a yellow circle like this instead. Alright, so if anyone used to use these or use those, what we can do is when we're setting up these designs is, say I wanted this clip art in this area, but for now I still needed to create the clip art, it wasn't ready for it yet. I can put little objects in here like this, like a circle, I can just draw that in there, and we're going to think of it as a placeholder. So when I'm ready to actually add my clip art, I can select my circle, I can save this design, leave the circle there, and then I'm going to build my category or my clip art up for beach designs. Once I do that, then I can interchange them with whatever I want. So for now we'll leave this little circle here. Once we have our clip art ready, we can select our circle, hit change artwork, and let's go ahead. We'll do our summer pack, clip art, beach chair, and we'll do 17. And it'll just throw that right in there for me. Now the file was saved sideways, so that's why it came in that way. So I would just need to rotate it, and then it will add that right there for me. So you can use those circles or square objects just as a placeholder in the meantime until you actually are ready to place your design in there. And then if you need to, you can move it around, you can resize it, and then you're done. Now, if I didn't like this beach chair, I can hit change artwork again, go back to my summer pack, my clip art. Maybe instead of a beach chair, I wanted a beach drink. So I'll grab one of these beach drinks and I'll throw that in there. Now again, these weren't saved the right direction, so that's why they're coming in sideways and stuff like that. But when you get it ready to save, you can just throw those in there just like that. So everything in here can be interchangeable. So let's go back a couple. So we'll have ours like that. And then let's go ahead and grab some palm trees as well. So let's go clip art. So just a palm tree like that. Now again, you can add to any of these designs. So someone asked how you make a clip art come in the right side, how do you make it come in the correct size every time? So when we create these designs, in the next one you'll be able to see a little bit too, is I have a couple questions coming in. First of all, with the templates, the way those work is if I draw a square this big, or if I have an object before it that's this large, and I hit change artwork, it's going to make my artwork that same size of the box that I just drew. So if I had a box or a circle or a star that was really small, and I hit change artwork, it's going to make it that small. So that's the way these live templates are going to work, is that they're going to bring in exactly to the size that you created. So with this one here, the next one I bring in will use the dimensions of this design and fit right into that spot every time. So that's why the live templates are so nice, is that it makes everything interchangeable because we're working with vectors. So once we just snap that into the place, it's going to resize the vector to fit in that same place. Now, and then someone asked, can I use my magic templates with the designer? Yes and no. So I wouldn't get in the habit of, if you have clip art from your magic packs or your magic templates, you can use those as interchangeable clip art. Sometimes with the text boxes and stuff like that, to get the text to work correctly, like you see here, you actually have to go through those steps of doing the MMM and then resizing it, use the envelope feature to shape it, and then you can use the text. With the magic templates, it's more of those boxes where it was set up something like this instead. So let's draw a box real quick. Go to my envelope, add new. So instead of, let's do Smith. So if you had it like this and you had your yellow box, you selected your box and your text, you right click it, it will shape it right to that artwork or that style. But once you're here, if I use the same thing but now I just do Smith, see, first of all, our text isn't even centered. So that's our first mistake. And then if I just do Smith and hit OK, you can see that it doesn't take the whole shape. So when you're working with your magic templates, it's not going to be exactly the same, but you can use the clip art in the same way. So with our palm trees here, we can just add these on each side. Move them to the back. And then we pretty much have our design ready. So after this point, it would just be getting everything ready to cut. No, there's not a live template editor replacement for the magic templates. They both do a lot of different stuff. The live template is definitely, I would think, a step up from the magic templates. But the magic templates are still great. You can still use them. And if you have those shapes and stuff, it'll automatically send your text to it. This just makes it kind of like one step or one place to do everything. It's already made. I can manually change my text and you'll see it change. Yeah, the live editor is a lot easier and can do a lot more than the magic template. So it's definitely like almost like a build on to the magic templates, but you can still use the magic templates the same way. You can take, if you have any of those old packs, definitely try to incorporate all the clip art into your new live templates because you can still interchange all the clip art. So that's the biggest advantage that you'll have. You'll already have all these vectors made, and then you can just add them into your clip art. Yeah, it's magic, but better. Thanks, Kate. All right. So does anyone have any questions about our first design before we go ahead and get into our next one? And this one, we're actually gonna, we'll get it ready to cut, and we're gonna actually pull in a clip art or a design from the internet, and we're gonna use the B-spline to chase it or trace it. All right. All right. So we'll keep on moving. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this out. You guys will have the version that's already created. Yeah, exactly. And with this now, what's great about the live templates is you have this design and you can do it for countless families now. You can do it. It doesn't even have to be for a family. It can just be, you know, summer vacay. It could be a summer shirt. It could be a summer camp shirt. You know, whatever you're going for, anything summer related, you now have a shirt for it. So don't get, that's the biggest thing with the live templates. You'll see like live templates 1 and 2, the packs have a lot of sports designs in them. And the clip art is sports related, but that doesn't mean you can't use that same base template kind of we just created now for a totally different design. And where it has those clip art images, you can interchange that with something completely different than sports. So when you see these live templates, just know that you really have a lot of, you pretty much have an endless possibility of creating designs. So with this one, you guys are going to get this file right here. So this is what you need to do with it. Break it apart, save your palm tree 1 as a clip art. Save this as our, you know, summer setting clip art, whatever you want to call it. You have a sun clip art. So those, you're getting 3 clip arts. And actually, if you want to even break it down more, then I can take my Smart Fill tool, fill these little birds in. Now I have 3 birds clip art. I can fill that umbrella in. Now I have an umbrella clip art. Fill this chair in. Now I have a chair clip art. So with this one design we just made, you're getting the base design plus the possibility of creating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clip arts. So that's what you guys want to start seeing with these designs, is break them apart and you can start pulling all these different clip arts into your designs. So if I wanted to save this umbrella as my clip art, I can go ahead and copy that. I'll just open a new page. Yep, someone asked, can you save in the TRW clip art section? Yep, and that's what that's for. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit File, Save As. Once you do your File, Save As, it won't directly bring you into that clip art folder. So you'll have to find that, you'll have to follow that path that we do every once in a while. So again, it's going to be your C drive, then it's going to be Users, Public Documents, then you should see the Rhinestone World folder. Go ahead and click that, TRW clip art. Now, see how you'll probably have these 3 already here. I have this extra clip art folder. Yep, someone asked about the contour. We're gonna do that in the next design too, so I'll go over that again. So this clip art folder right here, you can see Mascot Sports. This is more of my clip art that I've created. So you can easily right click, add new folder, and really name this whatever you want. Or I can hit TRW clip art CDR. I have my CDRs here, and then I can go File New, and I could do Beach clip art. Go ahead and open that, and then I'll just save this as Umbrella 001A, because it's a one color. And the way our clip art or live templates work, when you see A, that's a one color. When you see B, that's a multicolor. And when you see C, that's more of a gradient, more for printing. It's direct to garment printing, ready for that. So if you're using just vinyl, use A or B. If you're using everything, or if you can use sublimation or direct to garment, you can use any option. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Save. Now, if I have my clip art here, I can grab my tree here, even though it's a tall tree and it'll be a tall umbrella, that's okay. It's just to show you guys. Then I can come in here, go Change Artwork. Let's go to my Rhinestone World, TRW clip art, CDR. There you'll see our beach clip art, Umbrella 001A. If I go ahead and view large icons, we'll be able to see the icon, and then it will just snap it right in there for us. Alright, someone's saying their computer froze. Anyone else having problems? Can everyone hear me and see me okay? Alright. Shelby, if you're still having problems, sometimes if you just come in and out, just log in and then, or log out and then back in, sometimes that will fix your issue. So that's how you can easily add clip art into your designs and save them just like that. So definitely get in the habit of seeing those kind of things and realizing that this whole image right here, technically you could grab about 4 or 5 clip arts from this one design. Alright. So go ahead and move on. So the next design we're going to do is, I called it Battle at the Bay. It was just the bottom of the text. This was mainly a way to kind of showcase any city. You'll see the top of it has like a cityscape, so it's more of like a design based around that. But again, it can be used for anything. All right. So the first thing we're going to do with this one is, again, we're just going to go to our star and we're going to hit our polygon. So most of the time you'll see it as a polygon tool. But if you do click on here and go to like a different shape or tool, whichever the last shape you have or went to, you'll see over here. So right now you can see the arrow, whereas if I went to the polygon, now you see that back there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just draw a polygon. Again, right up here you'll see points or sides. We're just going to change it to 6. So this is how our design is going to look right now. Almost the same steps as our first one. Right click the split, and it's going to go ahead and split our design straight down the middle like that. Alright, so the only thing different from this design is when we remove our bottom half, we're going to hold on to it. Actually, before we split it, let's go ahead and we're going to just shrink it down just a little. We're going to squeeze the top and the bottom. And then we'll go ahead and split it. And then we're going to take our bottom half and just put it to the side. And then I'll go ahead and center this piece right to the center of our page. Then I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle probably about 3 inches. Same thing, go ahead and center that. And I will make that yellow just so we can see it. And then that's going to go right up here for us. So we'll make it a little bit, we'll make it closer to 4. So we're going to have our design set up just like that. And I'm going to pull that just up a little. So pretty much set up just like that. Okay, so great question. Someone asked, why is the split say 0.02? Shouldn't it be at 0? And what we're doing right now, yes, it can be at 0. But the reason why it's set at 0.02 is because if I had a text like this, and it said Seminoles, and I hit impact so we can see it a little bit better. Now, when I right click and split this, when we go to layer this with vinyl, it's going to be very hard to line up those letters. So what this 0.02 does is makes our black already trapped just a little bit, so it actually overlaps the red, or the red overlaps the black just a little bit, so you have a little wiggle room for error. So that's why it's set at 0.02. So what we're doing right now, technically it doesn't need to be set at 0.02. Manually it will start at 0.02, and I just didn't change it because I'm deleting that bottom half anyway, so it doesn't need it. No, it doesn't put a gap. It actually overlaps it just a little bit, which makes it easier to press, and it won't. If it was perfect and you didn't have an overlap and you press your shirt just a little bit off, you'll see that white showing through the shirt. So that helps prevent that from happening. So if you want it even bigger, you can make that number bigger, but 0.02 is usually a good area for that. All right. So again, we're going to put this to the side. For now, we don't want to actually delete this half yet. We're going to use it with our design. All right. So next thing we're going to do is just grab a rectangle, make it a little bit bigger than our outside, the polygon we just drew, the original one. So let's go ahead and let's make this whole design about 10 inches wide. Okay. Go ahead and center that, and then I'm going to move it down pretty much like that on my design. I'll go ahead and change the color so we can see what we're working with. Now again, we're going to go to our envelope tool. We're going to select our rectangle box, still using the single arc. We're going to hit add new. And this time I'm going to hold control and raise up a little bit. And you should see both of those lines going up together. And then we're going to let go just like that. Now we're going to go to our place and fill. And we're going to go ahead and add one island to the inside about 0.15. So go ahead and island fill. It's going to look like that. and then we're going to hit it one more time. So we're going to have 3 different colors, and I'll just go ahead and change that so we can see it a little bit. Now the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and select your blue, hold shift, select the black, and we're going to hit trim. So what that's going to do is just knock out the black underneath it. You won't really see much of a change. And then what we're going to do is select the blue again, hold shift, select this topaz color right here, and hit back minus front. So that's going to give us a white area behind, or through this area now. Then I'm just going to nudge up my box just a little bit. Actually, I don't even need to. I'm going to grab this topaz, hold shift, select the black, and weld that together. So now this is all one piece now, and then we just have this as our second. So then we're going to do it one more time. We're going to just select the pink box, island fill, and this time I'm actually going to go to 0.07, and we're just going to give it a back minus front, and it's just going to be a small outline just like that. And I can change it black. You can weld it right now if you want. Won't make a difference. If you want it as a color different from the black, you can leave it unwelded, and we can just like make that red or something if you want it to stand out a little bit more. Alright, so the next step here is creating our text again. Alright, so once we create our MMM, what's our next step? Alright, so once we type this out, what's our next step for the live? Yes, thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Becky. Center, center, center. So we need to center our text. Alright, so then we can kind of just throw it up right in this area. And then what I do from here is just kind of shrink it down to fit in this little area. So we'll move in the sides. And then I'll move this down just a little bit down here. Alright, so once we have that centered up, we can just go ahead and put that in there. Actually, let me make sure. Actually, it doesn't look like it's centered this. Let me go back a few steps. Don't think I centered my box. So here, it's just going to look off. Make sure that's centered. Again, so MMM and center. Alright, so now I can go ahead and center that and bring that down, and then I can just line it up to the outside. I want to leave a little space. Someone asked, do we need to convert to curves before cutting in the live template? Yeah, you'll probably want to make sure you're converted to curves, or it's like welded to a different color, like you know, if you had 2 blacks and the center was black and the part of your design was black, I usually just weld all the light colors together, and by welding it automatically converts it to curves. Alright, so once we're here, we'll do our envelope again, and just kind of make it the same size and shape of the envelope we already have. So it's pretty much already going to be a guideline of what we need. Now again, don't go too close to the edge because we are going to be adding a contour. So we'll be changing that up a bit anyway. So again, once we have our text made, let's go ahead and find text and test it out. So this one, we can go ahead and write, I think we did championship. Perfect, worked well. Let's go ahead and change the style. For this one, let's go ahead, we'll just do a basic impact with this one. So we have our championship. Let me pull it down just a little bit. And then same thing we did on the last one, we're going to add these contours. So we're going to do a 3-color live text. So once we have our text, come up here to our contour tool on the TRW toolbar. Once we click that, you'll see all the settings of our text. So it should say the last one. So we were in white, so let's go ahead and make that red. And this time I'm going to just go back to the sharper corners so it looks nice. And I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. Not too big, we don't want it going outside. So right around there. Alright, so that's our first color. So from here I select the black text inside, Control C, Control V to do a copy and paste. You'll see the layer right on top. And then I just hit the contour tool again. Again, it's going to have our settings. So let's go ahead and make this white. And then I'm just going to lower this number until I think it looks good. So right around there. And then it's done. Alright. So does anyone need to see that part again? Are we good with adding contours? Alright, so the way this is set up is now I can highlight my text right there, come to my merge 3-color live text, it will knock out that white that was there, and now this is ready to cut. So this design right here, I could weld all the black together, and then the red would be a separate piece. And it's already good to go because it knocked out that center color right there. That. And we'll make this so when you I'm not manually deleting anything. They're both still there, but once you highlight this section and hit the merge 3-color live text, it will delete out one of the championship words and delete that center contour out. So it's going to leave you, once you hit the merge 3-color live text, it will just leave you with one championship and one outline. Let's go ahead and we'll just change that to black. Maybe make this a little bit bigger. All right. So we have our design set up just like that. Now let's go ahead and up here with the circle, we're going to go back to 0.15. To the outside, island fill. We have our island. We're going to hold shift, select our black behind it, and back minus front. No, so someone asked if I change the text, only one changes. No, because it's a live template, it will read the championship text together, so you can write anything you want. It'll change them both together. Right. So just leave it like that. Now I'm just took out that circle pretty much. If it's too much, you can make the circle bigger, and you'll see the spacing in between disappear. So now we're just going to add some gears to our top of the area up here on the black. So this time, since we're only going to use a 2 with the gears, it's going to be 20 on one side and 17 on the other. I'm only going to do 2 M's, but it's the same process otherwise. So write out your M's, change it to center, and then add any envelope feature you want. If you're just going to put it just like flat where there's actually not an envelope, that's okay. We still need to hit add new and apply. So add new and apply. Now I can click on this M with my text tool, change this one to 20, and change this one to 17. And then once we're done with that, we'll go ahead and select the text. So we'll leave it with an impact. Go ahead and make these white, and then that will add the 2017 right there. And if we want a contour, no problem. We can just easily add our contour outside. Same with our 17. Right. And one thing I want to show you guys, since it was happening a second ago, see how when I have this at 0.03, only one side has the contour around it? That's just a little glitch in Corel. Usually if you just go up one or two, it will add it to both. So if you're getting that problem, just know that you can, once you change your setting, it should, if you go up or down, it should fix that problem for you. So we can have those there. Once those are there, we can even shift them up. And have our design, any way we want it to. We can make it look fine just like that. And at the top part in the original design, all I did was draw 3 little rectangles like this. Welded all 3 together. Clicked on it, and you'll see these arrows pull up to the side, and then I just dragged it down like that. And I just brought it, once I have that actually set up, I brought it down a little bit. Maybe pull it up just a little bit more. And then I just flipped it to this side and just lined it up. So that's just something, just to add, to make it look a little bit different. You don't have to have these up here, or if you wanted to add stars up here, you can easily add like a row of stars or anything you want at the top. Alright, so with the bottom, this is where we're going to start incorporating the design we saved. Before we do that, now you have, in your shapes, you have basic shapes and you have banner shapes. So we have a basic one that works pretty well. It's going to look like here. Now, what you can do, and what I recommend, is if you have any of the live template packs, if you hit open template, so let's go to TRW Live Templates Volume 1. If you see any part of these designs that you like, go ahead and use them in other designs. So with this one, let's go ahead and find it. So this one right here, we have this Sarasota Storm hockey template. Go ahead and open this. And I really like the way these banners look, so I'm going to come in here with my Smart Fill those 3 pieces, weld them, and now I have a new banner that I can now copy and paste into my design here. So I always recommend using using parts of other designs, and you can also do that with the text. So if the text isn't your thing, if maybe you just don't really understand how to create it, how it's not working correctly, any problems with the text and you just don't want to deal with it, well then I could come back to my design here. This storm text, it's already, if I just group it, it's already in this perfect envelope. So now I don't even have to shape it, it's already shaped for me, and I can build my design around this text. So all these live templates, you can build your own from the ones that are already created just by combining banners, combining text, anything like that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and line this up. I'm going to bring it up just a little that way. And pretty much set it up just kind of how it is. You can center it to your page just to make sure. And I'm going to bring it down just like that. So now I'm going to bring in my other half of my design that we were using earlier. And I'm going to try to line it up pretty close to the sides of my text. So I might bring it in just a little on this side. And that's good. And then I'm going to pull it up so it goes all the way So no part of my design is underneath this black bar here. So even if it looks like that, that's okay. That's kind of what we're going for. And then all we have to do is select our black on top, hold shift, select the blue, hit trim, and then I can come double click in here, and then it'll get rid of, I'm just double clicking these nodes, and it'll trim all that out for me. So then I'm just left with this piece underneath here. Now if you want this bottom piece good, if not, we can just do one island around here, back minus front, and now I can take that out as well. And that almost gets this ready because it's not touching now. It takes out one step we have to do later to get it ready to cut. Right. So then I'm going to select my blue, just nudge it up with my arrow keys just a little bit, select my black, and hit weld. So now that's all one piece now. Alright, so was there any questions on that part? And if I want to, I can always add a contour. If we're printing, we can make it really easy, add a contour there as well, and make it just kind of go just like that. Alright, so we're almost there. Just got a few more things. So our next text tool, we're going to follow the shape of this banner. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So now we're going to still do the same process. So MMM, and then everyone knows the next step, right? Center, center, center. Correct. Alright, so with here, what I like to do is just bring my M and go all the way across. And I'll probably need to make it just a little bit not as tall. So just something like that. And let's go ahead and change this to a blue so we can see it a little bit better. And then I'm going to go back to my envelope tool. So this is going to be the more complicated envelope styles that we're going to create. Usually it's not this complicated. It's more of just shaping it using the single arc. But instead, we're going to use the unconstrained option, and we're going to hit Add New. Now, same boxes are going to appear around it, but now we have a little bit more control of what we're going to do. So when I click this bottom box here, you'll see these arrows shoot out, and you can almost start bending it to the exact shape of our ribbon. So I'm going to pull this one up a little bit here, and then pull this down just a little this way. I can pull this one up over here, and then use my arrows to bring that back down. Same with this one, we're going to raise this side up to the top. If you hold shift, it will keep it straight in line. Give it a little bit of an arc. Raise this one up to fit. Get rid of that one first. Raise this one up here. And then just use our arrows to help shape the actual text. Alright, so this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky to fill these exactly. It's going to take a little bit of practice to get it down, but by doing this, you're able to shape your text to almost like any path. Not any path, because some will get a little bit too complicated, but something like that, I can easily fill that. Now I'll go to my TRW Live template. Let's find text. So now you can see our 20 or 17 Home Run Derby and our MMM. So let's go ahead and try to hit, for this one, we'll do Battle at the Bay. And you'll understand in a minute what we're going to do is trace the skyline of the Tampa Bay. And that's why we're calling it Battle at the Bay. It's just a design for a tournament style t-shirt. We can change that up right there. Make it white. Whatever we need to do. And if I need to still kind of come in and change it, I can click on the text again, double click, and I can still edit that vector if I need to, or the shape of my text. So let's go ahead and, I know we're running a little bit longer already, so let's go ahead and just, I'm going to bring in a picture of the Tampa Bay skyline. So what I like to do is, it's obvious, it's going to be easier if I type in like Tampa Bay skyline silhouette, they're already going to be made for me. But again, these are someone else's designs, so I don't really want to copy this one. So instead, I'm just going to do Tampa Bay skyline, and I'm going to just trace it myself. So I'm just going to take a picture, something like this. It's a really crisp, clean picture. I'll go ahead and copy, paste, and now I'm going to use my B-spline and trace around this image. So I'm going to do a quick trace. It's not going to be perfect, but we're just going to trace right around this design. And even though they might be like rounded tops or something like that, for this purpose, I'm just going to do square. And you can do that in your designs as well. Even though it's like, some might be a little bit rounded, usually they still look pretty good when you square them off like this. And if you mess up, don't worry. We can go back and fix any of the nodes that we messed up on. And you'll see at the end, some of these buildings might not look the best. Their tops, like the one I just went through, you'll see when it's in vector form that it sometimes doesn't look as good as it does like in the picture. So you might need to manually edit it a little bit, which I'll show you how to do as well. So almost done with the trace. Do the SunTrust building. So, local teams, you can, if you're going to a certain area, travel teams, anything like that, if you have a tournament, you can kind of use this design or create your own and make it, exactly for that team, or that location. So once I'm done, I'm going to go all the way across and connect it to my starting point. And now when I pull that out, I just have a nice downtown view of the skyline of Tampa. So that looks pretty good. It looks a little bit like the building's off, so if you need to, just to make it good for the vector form, you can change anything around, like maybe make it more center or stuff like that. I'm going to leave it as is, but just know that you can change these around once you're finished with them. So once I create my vector, I'm done with this image, I'll go ahead and delete it. And then I'm going to draw a circle, a perfect circle. And let's go ahead and just change the color so we can see it. And I'm going to move that to the back of my design. And then I'm just going to put my city right in between it. I want it to hang off a little on each side. So if you have a building that you want to make sure is featured in your skyline, make sure that part of it's not hanging off your circle. Once you have it set like this, double click, highlight the two bottom vectors, and just pull straight down. So it should cover the bottom half of your circle like that. Once you do that, hold shift, select the circle. So now you should have both those objects selected. We'll come up to our buttons here and hit intersect. So it's not going to look like much has changed, but now when I pull my vector away, it's going to see that city skyline in the middle of my design. So if that's too tall, if we don't like the way that looks, we can maybe bring it down a little bit. Try it again. And I kind of like it a little bit better that way. So now it's actually two pieces layered on top of each other. So we have our bottom city, and then we have our original circle. So we're going to take our original circle, add one island, and then our second island, we're going to make a little bit bigger. So I'll do 0.3 and hit island fill. So you'll see that thicker bar around it. So if it's easier to change the colors to see what we're working with, we're going to grab our dark green, hold shift, select the red, and back minus front. So then we're just going to have a little gap between here. We're going to take our original circle, so if you grab the top half of your design, delete that out, weld these two pieces together, and now we have a nice cityscape. So if you know what's coming, this is about to be right in here. So let's go ahead and save this real quick. So I'm going to bring this to a new page. Go ahead and file, save as, TRW clip art. Even though it's in the beach, just save it real quick. We'll do Tampa skyline, save. So now I can go back to my design, select my yellow circle that I used just as a placeholder while I was building my design. Hit change artwork. Let's go to TRW clip art, CDR, beach, Tampa skyline. You're gonna see it right there. Double click that, and I'll throw it in just to that perfect spot. And that's kind of why I use the circle around my city, because now if I do that every time for any city that I create, I know it's going to fit perfectly in there. Because what will happen is, if you just did the city in its bold look, it won't look as smooth as it will if we use a circle. So any type of like circle design now, and it doesn't have to be a circle design. Like if I use a hedgehog in here, it's just not going to fit perfectly like it would the circles would. You could rearrange it, but you can see it just doesn't look as clean. Now every time if we use a circle shape, and a lot of our decals and clip art's already set up like that, it will fit in perfectly in there without you having to edit at all. So does anyone have any questions about what we've covered so far? Awesome, thank you guys. So we're running a little short of time. We had like a little slugger thing right here in the original, and you'll have the original designs. Instead of that's just creating another text box. So instead of doing that, let's go ahead and go over. I know a couple people at the beginning were wondering about the kids pack. So I'll go over that for the last 5 minutes. Before I do that, let me give you guys your coupon code for the day. Sorry, Margot, that's actually, it was for a customer, that were here. The hedgehog isn't actually part of any of our clip art. How did you do the gradient? The gradient fill, if you have a color here, down at the bottom of Corel, you'll see this little palette, and it's just going to be the color of your design. If you go ahead and click that, it will say Edit Fill. And the next one over will be Fountain Fill. And that will allow you to select different colors and do a fill like that. Give you a nice gradient fill. But again, that's all for like screen printing, direct to garment, stuff like that. Alright, well you guys have a great rest of your day. Again, the kids new pack 65 will end tonight at midnight. The other code I gave you will end on Sunday. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Pamela, Wendy, Margaret, Doug. Great questions, everyone. If you guys run into any problems when you're creating, just give us a call at 941-755-1696 or shoot us an email at info@therhinestoneworld.com. You guys have a great weekend.